This video was brought to you by GamersGate.com. Download games anytime, anywhere. Skip it up and that up. Oh boy, that Xbox One, boys and girls. It's a-comin', whether you like it or not. And it's coming with the CPU clock speed boost as well. So Xbox Chief Marketing Officer Yusuf Mehdi was at the Citi Global Technology Conference that was held in New York City, and he confirmed that the Xbox One has a boosted CPU clock speed. They boosted it by 150 megahertz from 1.6 gigahertz to 1.75 gigahertz. And also, if you remember last month, Microsoft Corporate Vice President Mark Whitten announced that the company would be raising the system's graphics processor speed from 800 megahertz to 853 megahertz. So they kind of overclock the Xbox One like people do with their gaming PCs. But that's okay. That's okay. Let me explain. One of the nice things I'll be happy about having a Twitter account again is you get to see all the people, those quick one-liners they throw to each other, the fanboys throw to each other, and just people in general throw to each other in the gaming industry. And a lot of things I saw on forums, because, like I said, until a couple minutes ago, I didn't have a Twitter account. People were saying that, them upping the clock speed or on both the CPU and GPU is going to make it be the Red Ring of Death 2.0. And there's two things I got to say to that. One, when hardware developers or console developers, when engineers create these consoles, they're not going to make the CPU and GPU and all the chipsets run at full throttle maximum clock speed. So if it goes 1 degree over its operational temperature or 1 megahertz over its operational clock speed, that the whole system's going to fry. They give it headroom. They give it a ton of flex so the chipsets can run cool. And if the consoles warm up, there isn't going to be any issues with overheating. So I'm sure they could probably even increase the clock speed on the CPU and GPU to even higher clock speeds, but they just want to keep that extra flex, that extra headroom. So this really isn't that big of a deal. And to all the people saying this is going to be the Red Ring of Death 2.0, listen, Microsoft has made some dumb mistakes with the Xbox One, but I am sure they knew damn well when they developed the Xbox One, especially with the whole big debacle with the Red Ring of Death that happened with the 360, that it would be a death knell. If they designed this system poorly, that it would overheat easily, like the 360 did, at least the original fat white 360, it would kill the whole Xbox brand completely. It would destroy it. Rest in peace. People would not tolerate it again. Even the most casual consumer would be like, screw this, I dealt with this the previous generation, and they would jump. Even the diehard Xbox fans would jump ship to Sony. So no, I do not think that there's going to be the Red Ring of Death issue with the Xbox One. As a matter of fact, I pretty much can guarantee that will not happen. Look, I've read a bunch of the spec articles. I understand the PS4's GPU is more powerful on paper, but I just have this feeling we're not going to see a huge difference between the PS4 and Xbox One. I just think the games are going to look identical on there. Maybe, like I've said before, they'll eke out a little more power from the PS4 with exclusives, but in the end, I just think it's going to be, they really are so identical in so many ways. The Xbox One and PS4, it's funny. I was watching a video from Mark from Classic Gamer where I think he was reviewing the Wii U, and he said one of the things he'll miss about consoles is that in the past, every single console really gave you a different experience. And the Wii U almost is like the last console. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but whatever. I think it's a good point. It's like the Wii U is really the last system that's going to have a unique feel to it. Like back in the day when you had a Saturn and an N64 and a PlayStation, all of those games had characteristics of the unique hardware. Like when you played a PlayStation game, you knew it. Like if someone handed you a generic controller and you looked at the screen, you would know it was on a PlayStation. And if they handed you that same generic controller next to another TV, you would know it was on an N64. And if that same controller, again, generic, doesn't have any brands or anything unique on it, you would know you're playing a Saturn. And same with the previous generation, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Now it's they're really just customized. I mean, consoles have always been computers, but more than ever, they're really just streamlined gaming PCs. And I'm going to miss that unique feel that consoles had with each generation. If you're too young to understand this, because it's kind of like the playing field became leveled and that uniqueness went away with the 7th generation with the PS3 and 360, because multi-plats looked exactly the same. But if you're my age, you miss that every single console, every single hardware maker gave you a totally unique experience. Even with multiplats, hell, go back to the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. You could play the same game that was ported to both consoles, and it would be a totally different experience, sometimes for better or for worse. Sometimes it would favor the Genesis, sometimes it would favor the Super Nintendo. You could play the same game, and it was a totally different experience on the two different pieces of hardware. You're not going to get that anymore, because developers need that virtually the same hardware because it cuts costs, because games are so expensive to make now. Anyway, I don't know where that rant came from, but it's relevant enough, so I'm going to keep it in here. Alright folks, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and as always, thank you for supporting Review Tech USA. Have a good one.